brothers, my sisters? What is going on? Welcome back to a fabulous Wednesday for Sidekicks podcast. I, of course, am one of your hosts, Johnny Doe, and one of our special guests, Donny Cho. He'll be on, and we're going to talk a little bit about him, but we're going to let MaryLynn kind of do a little bit of introduction into this gentleman, and then Phil's going to hit us up with a little bit of the history on Donny Cho, Mr. DC, Big Dick himself. Go!
So we actually met Donnie at the Bigfoot convention.
We did.
The conference. And it's something, asked him to be on the show, and he graciously came on. And Phil, I'll turn it over to you for the bio.
All right. Donnie is the creator and host of Donny Cho Says Stuff, where he discusses gaming, wrestling, K-pop, and the supernatural / paranormal. Basically stuff Donnie likes to talk about. Catch him every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. Also, be prepared for some foul language.
Donnie, welcome to the show, my man.
Thanks for having me.
What were you doing at a Bigfoot conference? Let's start there. Why were you there?
If I'm to be honest, my main goal was to meet cryptid groupies. That mission, sadly, once again failed. So it was a bust. The second goal was to hang out with my folks, my peeps, the people at Texas Front Porch, Tex and Bigfoot Michigan Rob, Blondes and the Booze, Chris and Brandy, and Jason McLean, my homie. So yeah, you know what? It was really just an excuse to hang out with them because I'm all the way over here in Maryland. They're all over in Rob's in Michigan, Blondes are in Missouri, everyone else is in Texas. So it's kind of like our once a year. I'm trying to make it once a year where we just all meet up and hang out and talk about cryptids and meet up with fans and
that's it. Snort all the coke. I get it. Well, let me ask you this. You spent a lot of time hanging out with Jason McLean. Now,
yes.
Was that on purpose? Or
that was actually...
He said like a code word next time, or...
That was actually an accident. It was because it's one of those... Okay, so the way I got into the scene, everything was an accident. Everything.
Everything.
Like growing up, as a kid into an adulthood and probably into my mid to late 30s, I couldn't give two shits about the paranormal or cryptid or supernatural. I just didn't care. It's not that I didn't believe it. It just wasn't in my register, I was living in Korea for 10 years. My whole life was just about working, making money, going out to clubs whenever I had free time, hanging out. I didn't care about ghosts or especially no Bigfoot. I mean, again, if you had asked me if I believed in something like that, I would have been like, yeah, I guess it could be out there, but I don't really think about it. Yeah. I stumbled into the paranormal because I was randomly working at my buddy's restaurant, and the TV there, we couldn't find a remote, so it was always stuck on the travel channel. So Dead Files was always on, and no one could find a remote. So I'm sitting there having to watch it all day, and I'm like, yo, ghosts real? And then I started getting into listening to podcasts because I was always big into podcasts before all that. So I was like, let's listen to some paranormal podcasts. And then through that, they had a little thing where, hey, come meet the host. And it wasn't that far, and it was right when the pandemic was ending. So I was like, hey, I kind of want to go out and do stuff. I'm living here in Maryland. I barely know anybody. So I went out there, met some people. They introduced me to this whole live YouTube thing. I didn't even know what that was.
Oh, yeah.
So I show up. It's because some of the people that I met there introduced me to this whole medium. So I showed up as just some random asshole in the chat, just talking my shit. And then I guess people liked what I had to say. And then eventually I got invited on to some shows. And then I stumbled upon Jason and Tex on their show, and then Jason was talking about Ninja Turtles and comic book characters along with Nephilim. I was like, yo, I can hang with this guy.
Yeah, this is a good mix.
Yeah.
And then they asked me as a guest on one show, and then they just asked me the next week, then the next week after that, and next week after that. And eventually they were like, why don't you just do your own show? And I was like, I'm going to do my own show, but it can't be monetized because there's going to be lots of foul language, and I'm just going to talk about whatever I want to talk about. So
that's it.
No.
That's what's up, man.
So yeah, I think it's kind of similar-ish vein to you guys because I like to infuse a lot of comedic premises in with the cryptid and paranormal because I think it's an untapped mine.
Yeah.
Like there are too many people in this field that really are just all about maintaining their reputation and their credibility and you know. And
yeah.
I'm just
yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, which is fine. I mean, that's what you set yourself out to. But when I started my show, I devoted in my first entire episode, I devoted just to talking about Bigfoot's dick. That's it.
Believe it or not, that was actually going to be one of my questions was, do you think there has been encounters that have involved, the ween drinking? You know what I mean?
I could do you one better than that. The second, because Jason McLean was like, did you just do an entire episode just talking about Bigfoot's dick? And I was like, yes. He was like, let me go on to the second episode and we'll do part 2 of that. And I'm like, why? And he's like, I got video evidence of the dick. And I'm like, really? So he's like, yeah. So he comes show me, he comes on and he plays like a clip of like, Bigfoot encounter, right? Bigfoot found on video, right? We've seen billions of those. And then it kind of turns in an angle and lo and behold, this thing looked like a giant spaghetti noodle.
I'll be damned.
It was like white.
He's a shower, not a grower.
Right. And I was like, there it is. He's like, there it is. So I actually got to see actual video evidence of the dong.
That's glorious.
Yeah, I've so far done 4 episodes on Bigfoot's dick alone, just Bigfoot's dick.
Wow.
Well, the one that I'm most interested in. So here's the thing: there's a group that will say that Bigfoot is mammalian. However, right? But now, is it based on human ape DNA? In which case, we're talking 2 nipples. But if we're talking, other mammals like dogs where they could have litters, they could have like up to 6 nipples. How many nipples does Bigfoot have? Nobody really truly knows. There's no.
I would guess that too. I think that
is reasonable.
Yeah, because usually the things with lots of nipples are usually like 4-legged animals, and they're kind of closer to the ground, so like a bunch of animals could. If a bipedal ape had like 12 nipples, then how would the babies? How did they do that? How would they?
It would be like a buffet.
The mother would have to lie on her back. I guess.
Yeah, but she could charge like $5 all you can eat.
I don't think they have that many. Their litters are that big either.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. So. Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know. I don't know how many babies Bigfoots have. I mean, has anybody ever seen them with like multiple kids or?
I don't know.
I don't know, right?
It's just 1 or 2, but never like a litter.
Never like a whole litter, right?
1 or 2, but they're different ages.
Yeah.
Kim says she's seen female Bigfoots.
Yep.
So if that's the case, then that means we're looking at 2 nipples. And if we're looking at 2 nipples, that means we're possibly looking at breasts. I mean, we're talking about some serious milkers.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So next is to see some evidence of that.
I mean, I'm not interested.
I am. Yeah. I am. I want to know. Does Miss Bigfoot have an OnlyFans? That's what I wanted. That's the burning question.
That's
right.
Really
You know what I mean? And if Miss Bigfoot had an OnlyFans, would you sign up? For $5 a month, I probably would.
For $5, absolutely.
$6.99 is just too much.
No.
Just for the podcast material alone, I would.
Right.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure.
But I've got to but you have to have a principle. Like I'm not paying $6.99. I think $5 is fair, right?
Yeah.
I think Miss Bigfoot needs to know her market, right?
Mhm.
Know your value. I think $4.99. You know what I mean? Get weird with the number. That's fine. That's where I'm at. You know.
Yeah.
So how long have you been doing your podcast for, Donnie?
I'd say about 1.5 years now.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And
Jason
were
McLean
you-
Questions Everything. That was his original show. Actually, the reason why my name is called Donny Cho Says Stuff, because originally I was a co-host on his show. And then
Oh,
he was like, why don't you do your own show? I was like, okay, then I'll make the exact opposite of this show. So, yeah.
I love it. So were you always Asian? Or-
There was a time in the late 90s when I got into hip hop where I was kind of on the fence.
Okay. Okay.
I was playing with other races at that point.
Sure.
I was wearing baggy jeans and, I had like the earrings and the chains. And, I was going for it. But then at the end, I was like, you know what? Just stick with it.
I get it. I tried using the word essay a few times. It felt weird, so I stopped. I get it. All right. So every point on the show, we do this thing it's called Spirits for the Spirits. Today I have Bamboo.
Oh man, I forgot to get a shot of something. Damn.
You want to grab something? You want to go grab you something?
Yeah.
I'll be right back, guys.
Okay, go ahead, do your thing. In the meantime, I will talk about Bamboo for just a moment. Bamboo is owned by Lil Wayne. Lil
Wayne.
Wayne.
And it's
he's not Asian. He is American. That is very true.
So tasty. That's right. He's not an Asian.
It
He's
smells so
American.
good. So this has like a. I almost said banana afterbirth. That's not right. Like aftertaste. That's the word I was looking for. Not afterbirth.
What is banana afterbirth?
Not great, whatever it is.
Where did you get it from?
But this is good. It's only like $35, so it's not too expensive. They do make a reserve version of this, like a higher end version. It's also really good, but
It's
this
not
is
as good
definitely
as the original, though.
yeah. This has like a higher sugar content probably, but you can still freeze it. Captain Morgan, you cannot freeze.
Really?
No, it's literally slush right now in my freezer.
Huh.
So I had to go out and grab this, and of course, I have my outhouse to signify us getting shit.
So I'm actually doing a hurricane.
A hurricane?
Yeah.
Nice. Oh, is that some of the alcohol that we brought back?
Yep. I wanted to change it up a bit.
Yeah. All right, Donnie, what you got?
I got a little Korean drink called soju.
Oh, I love soju.
It tastes like utter crap, but I keep it around whenever relatives come by because I have relatives in New Jersey.
Okay. I remember them.
Yeah.
Cool.
I've actually had soju in South Korea, and that stuff.
Oh, you would.
Ass.
Yeah, you're required to have it there. It's not
Yeah.
even. If you've been to South Korea, you've had it. It's a given.
Yeah. Let's just say that I forgot how to get back on base, so the military guys had to help escort me back on.
That's a good day.
Oh, man.
Yes.
All right. Yeah.
So most alcohol is freezable. If it's got a higher sugar content, it will turn to slush. All right. So cheers.
Cheers.
Donnie.
It goes a lot better with Korean barbecue. Ew.
Yeah, it does.
Ooh. Oh, what up, Stevie? A plum wine. That sounds good. I plum love it. So, Donnie,
Yes.
you're big into comics, right? Marvel, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to talk to you about let's talk movies, okay?
Okay. All right.
The movies that have already come and gone, they've come and gone, right? That's history's mystery at this point.
Mm-hmm.
I want to talk about what's coming next. What do you see in the future for those two specific franchises? We've got X-Men, Fantastic Four on the horizon for Marvel. You've got DC has James Gunn has taken over. He was the director for Guardians of the Galaxy. He's completely taken over the DC universe. They're getting away from Zack Snyder's version for better or for worse. I don't know what your opinion is on the Snyderverse. So I guess we can get to that. I guess that's a great place to start. What did you think of the Snyderverse, the DC Snyderverse?
Before the Snyderverse, I actually liked Zack Snyder because I really liked his adaptation of Watchmen. I thought it was very well done, especially if you get the DVD set where they include all the little interludes. And because he treated it like it was 300, which was basically, if you read the original graphic novel, almost shot for shot, panel for panel, right?
Yeah.
And he gave the same treatment to Watchmen, which is, and I liked it. I mean, some people not so much, but I really enjoyed it. But it pretty much captured the graphic novel almost shot for shot. Snyderverse comes along. I like Man of Steel. I thought it was a good take on Superman. It was kind of like following in the same vein as Chris Nolan because he added a touch of more realism.
Yeah, so, a hint of darkness in morality.
Right, and there was an explanation for there was more. I thought it was interesting. I was like, oh, they actually went out of their way to make Superman's X-ray vision. At first, it was a liability, right? It was it was giving him migraines, right? And the super hearing, and that was a real. And then they actually gave an explanation where it was actually the atmosphere that gave him those abilities, right? And it was the radiation from the sun that gave him all the super strength and all that. They gave an explanation, right? So I liked it. Batman vs Superman comes along. They completely crapped the bed with Lex Luthor.
That was awful.
Why did you cast that dude? Seriously. They completely screwed up.
That was the worst problem with that movie. That was the fact that Batman gets outsmarted by literally everyone. Batman.
Yeah.
He gets outsmarted by Wonder Woman. He gets outsmarted by Cyborg. He gets outsmarted by Superman. He gets outsmarted by Lex Luthor. What the fuck? And then his big scene is him crawling on the ceiling. Oh my god, dude! Shoot me!
Right. Basically, he was their version of Nick Cage.
Oh, God.
That's all he was. He was together. That just kind of brought everyone together. He was their version of Nick Cage. He was white Nick Cage, or not Nick? Well, yeah, Nick Cage. Yeah. No, Nick Cage is the actor.
I know who you're talking about.
His name is Cage. His first name is Cage, but I don't remember the last name.
That's about Nick Fury.
Yeah.
Nick Fury.
Yeah.
Well, close.
Yeah.
Nick Cage didn't name himself out after a Marvel character, so I'll take that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's that. He was their version. He was white Nick Fury.
Are there any movies in the future that you're looking forward to them? Be it
I
Marvel?
guess it really depends on Disney, huh? It really depends on them.
It's true. It's true. It's not great. It's not great over there right now.
Yeah.
Joker 2.
See, I didn't like
forward to Joker 2. You didn't like the first one?
Nope. I didn't. I liked the movie. I liked the movie as long as you take the word Joker out of it. If you called it Man with Mental Illness, I'd have been okay with it. But the second you add the Joker, the name Joker, to that, I expect a Joker movie, and it wasn't that. I felt like
it was like the origin story.
It was like an origin story that wasn't really an origin story because it was not really his origin story. They just kind of made one up. And
I watched it again last week.
See, Trevor agrees. The Joker movie sucked. It did. Now, again, it's not that the movie itself was bad. It was bad for what it was called. I do think Joaquin Phoenix did a fantastic job. I do think he played the character that was given to him to incredible heights. He did a great job with what he had. And I do think the movie itself was an interesting concept and movie. It just was not the Joker.
I'll be happy to watch it with you next week when I come back.
Okay, I'm down. So, you know what? Whereas I feel like a genre that they've done really good with is Godzilla. Freaking Godzilla -1 only cost like $80 million. That shit was the bomb.
Right, and it was less than $15 million apparently to produce that movie.
Yeah, it was dirt cheap. And when I said the bomb, I apologize, Japanese people. I didn't mean it
Nah, they did. Nah, it's okay. With all the atrocities they committed against my people, they kind of deserved it.
That's true. There you go.
Yeah.
Fair enough. What about his fair play?
I used to get drunk with my old ass uncle in Korea, and then I would, the topic of the Japanese bombings came up, and he was like, because a lot of Koreans, they have a real axe to grind with the way they were treated by the Japanese. My grandfather was not my grandfather. My uncle was like all drunk that one day, and he's like, you know what I regret about those bombs they dropped on Japan? I'm like, what, uncle? They're like, I regret they didn't drop 3.
Cold-blooded.
I was like, damn, this dude can hate.
Yeah. That's the thing, folks. No matter what you do in America, racism will always be alive. So.
And they did almost try to traffic his mom, so I'll be like, okay, you get a pass.
That's great. Okay, so you have talked a little bit about you live not too far from Gettysburg, and you've been to some pretty cool locations in Gettysburg, and you recommended some to us. Tell me a little bit about some of the experiences you've had there.
Have you ever been to Gettysburg? Have you guys been to Gettysburg?
It's really none of your business, Donny.
Man. Oh, man. Okay, so the thing about Gettysburg that I think is real cool, it's sort of like Disneyland for paranormal nerds, because the whole town is basically one of two things. It's either Civil War merchandise and like souvenir shops, or it's like ghost hunting shops where you'll be walking down the street and they'll have like stores with their window displays of like EVP meters.
What?
And there's like a sign for like a ghost tour like every other street corner. I mean, this place is straight up Disneyland for like if you're a ghost and Civil War history nerd and paranormal stuff. And are you guys going to the bash?
Yes.
Yeah, this place is like the closest thing you'll come to an entire town being devoted to like ghost fandom.
That's pretty awesome.
So it's pretty.
What is it about Gettysburg that makes it so appealing?
Well, obviously it's the battlefield right into history, right? But we've had other I guess because it's the most famous battlefield or site of where a battle occurred. It's probably the most famous one in our nation's history, at least in in American soil. Mm-hmm. But then the town itself that's built around it, it's like a really nice town. It's very like quaint, but also like modern enough and metropolitan enough where it's not you don't quite feel like you're out in the sticks.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah, and it's got a good mix of everything, and there's so many places with so many ghost stories there. That's awesome. Why they have all those tours, because there's all these locations, and yeah, I'm kind of excited for you guys that you've never been there and you're gonna be going there for the first time.
I really want to go down there and open an Italian restaurant. I got it. I'd call it Spaghettisburg.
I just want to go to Gettysburg myself, but that's just me.
That sounds so good.
Maybe we'll open up SpaghettiOs or something. I don't know.
It'll be like a Fazoli's.
Oh, you should call it Spaghetti's Burgers.
There you go, Spaghetti's Burgers. There you go. Mix two things together, and the slogan can be "Go fuck yourself." Hey.
Drink that out of the bitters.
Woo! Boy,
yeah, Gettysburg is a lot of fun. I think you guys are gonna have a real good time.
Oh yeah. So Donnie has agreed to meet us down in Gettysburg. So when we get down there, that's what we're gonna do. We'll introduce him. Phil and we have a really fun game we call Hide the Pickle. We'll introduce that to you. I think you'll really like it.
All right.
I'll go first.
As long as it's kosher.
It's kosher, baby.
Peter Piper picked it for a reason. Okay, that's all I'm saying.
Yeah, it's got to be kosher. We got to make sure it's right with God.
That's right. Right with Jeebus.
Yeah.
Well, okay. We don't usually talk a lot of religion, but I have to bring this up because you just brought up Jesus and you have to be Korean. Did you know there is a Korean Jesus?
Yeah, I am aware of that guy.
There is a religion that basically believes that Jesus came back, and he came back Korean, and then died again. Like he's already come and gone.
Yeah.
I have a friend, Sean, that comes to game day. Him and his wife, they go to the Church of Korean Jesus. I don't know what it's called, so I call it the Church of Korean Jesus. I apologize if somebody worships.
Oh, you're talking about the Moonies. Yeah, you're talking about the Moonies.
But I that blew my mind. I was like, wow, that just goes to show you can you could worship freaking anything if you really wanted to. Becky,
I could actually expound on that a bit for you if you want.
Oh yeah. If you have any info, I'm down.
Okay, not to get too political, but remember, like last year, the Japanese Prime Minister got assassinated.
Oh yeah.
Okay, do you know the reason why he got assassinated? According to the assassin, why he did it?
I would assume a bullet.
His mom got involved in that cult. And
Really?
the assassin had actually come from a pretty respectable, well-to-do family, but because she was involved in that cult, she gave him literally all their belongings, all their finances. The family got into financial ruin. So he went from being like an upper middle class growing up to like pretty much living on the street because of the cult. And according to him, the prime minister gave, I guess, a lot of government, like he had the government look the other way a lot of times. And that's what got them established in Japan. And he was so angry about that he actually made a homemade gun to assassinate the prime minister of Japan.
That's intense. That's like World War One starting stuff right there when they assassinated Franz Ferdinand.
If I devoted 20 years of my life to make a homemade gun that was good enough to assassinate someone, it would not happen. It would be what I would make. It would be like a wooden thing with like rubber bands. And I'm like, he's a gun. I spent 20 years.
And then it would come back and hit me in the face.
20 years making a gun. It's because I spent 6 months making a gun and accidentally shot myself.
Yeah.
Okay? And the rest of the time was me just trying to recuperate in the hospital.
I think if someone tasked me for 20 years to make a gun and then to use it against the prime minister of Japan, 20 years later, I run up to the Japan with like a pocket full of bullets and I just chuck them at him. And I'll be like, what? I procrastinate.
They call that a drive-by in Kansas.
So did he really wait for 20 years to shoot him?
Well, I don't know if he waited for 20 years or how long he took to. Well, but he was that angry for that long.
Okay.
So I don't know how long it took for him to make that thing, but yeah, I would have just taken a 9mm bullet and he'd be like, "Hey, guy," and just be like, "Huh."
Donnie, gotta ask you, what kind of music you listen to, buddy?
K-pop and metal.
Okay, so what is K-pop?
Okay.
K-pop is Korean pop music, although not all the performers are Korean. It's just the pop music that comes out of Korea.
Okay, hold on. I think I know some of these. There was a girl band called Blackpink. Is that right?
Blackpink. Yep.
And I want to say, yeah, they're no longer. They're like they like broke up because one of them got in trouble for doing like a what do they call it? Like a risque dance.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. No, that's not the reason why they broke up. Actually, the main reason why they broke up is because they couldn't come to terms with their record label, which is typically how a lot of these bands wind up breaking up, is because they couldn't come to terms because they were getting so big, and then it was time for contract negotiations, and they didn't like what they were offered, so they decided, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and start my own record label. How about that?
And then BTS, that's a Korean.
Yep, K-pop group,
boy band. So what are some other ones that you would recommend? Like, I want to say there's one called like XY or YX or
XG, and that's what I was going to recommend, mainly because most of their songs are in English.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and so you could pretty much follow along, and I mean, there's so many.
I'm bilingual.
Oh yeah.
I know English and poor English.
Oh.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say Pig Latin.
Nope.
What is the difference between regular English and poor English? Why don't you enlighten me?
What poor English is? Like skibbity toilet.
Skibbity toilet.
Yeah, it means nothing. Like kids say it these days. Same thing with yeet and big bet. Yeah, and bet. And then ratchet? That's a word.
Dead ass.
Oh, I say that sometimes.
Dead
I
ass.
say ratchet sometimes. That's
Ratchet.
just that's just new words. That's just
I'm getting cool, bro.
Yeah, skibbity toilet, y'all. Yeah, it's from that song where the fat guy bounces his belly, goes skibbity doop, skibbity doop, skibbity doop. You know what I mean?
So you know what the thing that I define as poor English, because
Yeah.
I was an English teacher for 10 years, so I'm a bit of a grammar, Third Reich. So
Riz, that's another good one. Big bet. Gallop.
the things that really grind my gears.
Yes.
Are the people who can't tell the difference between there, and there.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm just like, dude, you learn your
Yeah.
apostrophe. Stop embarrassing yourself on these like really serious, high-minded social media posts, but then you can't even get your apostrophes right. How am I supposed to take you seriously?
Okay. In fact, now that you brought that up, MaryLynn, can you find online on Facebook, Josh and Shane Pittman have just released a brand new show on Scare Network TV called the You're something. Can you bring up the flyer for me?
Oh.
I just want to show somebody in regards to that. This is what gets me is placement and phonetics. Okay. So for example, here we have the Boulder City High School, right?
Is it the one that says 1031 part 2, or what is it?
It's called the Eura something.
Okay, I'm going to keep looking.
So it's called the Boulder City High School. So they put giant silver letters for their school, BCHS. That spells bitches. They just got a big old sign out front that says bitches. So okay, yeah, that's it right there. What he just showed, that was it. So if you can show, so this is where placement is everything, right? Especially when you're making a flyer. And I actually showed this to Josh today. Can you find it?
Yeah, I've got it. I've just got to figure out how to share it on here.
Okay, well there it is. So it's do you know how to flip your screen to mirror it?
Oh, I don't know why it's not.
So people can see it? Okay, and then can you make him the big?
Because I know there's a way to share the screen.
I'm about to blow everybody's minds right here. And I think as somebody that taught English, here you go. You're really going to like this. So let's take a look at the 3 letters in red, right?
Eura.
And then what are the 3 letters exactly? Directly under.
Oh, I get it. I get it.
Yep.
Somebody put that there, and all I saw when I first looked at this was the other side of urine.
Yep.
That's how I read that.
Funny.
Is this a Japanese movie or something?
No, this is something that, so there's a group that we work with, our producers, The Searcher, Shane Pittman and Josh Purvis are there. Shane Pittman was on 28 Days Haunted, and he was on the Holzer Files, if you've seen either of those. So they did something for Scare Network. That was a documentary they did, and it was not released. They're just in it. It wasn't released by them. It was done by Billy something or other. So he put that together, and I had to show that to Josh because all I could see every time I look at that is urine.
That's all I can see now that you brought it up.
Right? So yeah, hashtag poor Shane. So I haven't told Shane yet. Shane doesn't know, but he's going to be. I'm sure he'll know soon enough.
Yikes.
And Lacey says that was me on Trevor's phone. English teacher in my hates when my students talk that way. Right? Like I mean, I feel like if you're in school, you should probably talk the way you're taught, right? Like just learn about how to make an actual sentence with your mouth, with your mouths.
Right.
It's ask, not acts. My brother has this thing where he always says, instead of saying specific, he says Pacific.
Oh man.
And it drives me up the fucking wall.
My brother always called spaghetti Buschetti.
Buschetti, yeah. I still call it Buschetti. From because it's from What We Do in the Shadows, which is hilarious.
Yeah, love that movie.
Pixie agrees. LMAO, and Schrader will run with it. He absolutely will. Oh, I see, Shane. You were in some type of production called Urine. Do you know?
We're actually going to see Dave Schrader in Gettysburg, right?
I think he's going to be there. Have you met Dave Schrader, Donnie?
Nope. Can't say that I have.
We'll introduce you to him. He's like super big in the supernatural paranormal world, and he's also super big in like the child care world. He's got like 19 kids. Yeah.
Wow.
The man shoots better than Alec Baldwin.
Man, this must be a busy guy.
He's a busy man.
Yeah.
He shoots.
He don't have no free time.
Okay. I still say shark instead of shark.
Okay, I'll tell you what really grinds my gears. Okay.
Lay it on me.
When people use seen as the past tense of see,
like, oh,
and I'm like, you mean you saw something last night? You mean you saw? Yeah. And I'm like, wait a minute, how many languages do you speak? Okay, because if English was your second language, I could, that's fine, that's excusable. Wait, you only speak one language? I speak one language and you can't even conjugate your verbs in the only language that you speak?
Yeah, but
I seen?
I done seen it.
You know what? I done seen. I'm okay with that one. I'm okay with that one.
I done seen it.
I done seen it. I'm okay with that one because that's got a nice staccato to it.
It does. It does.
Yeah, and you can sort it. No, you can't really grammatically excuse that, but it sounds cool. I'll give that one a pass.
It does sound cool.
Yeah, and if sometimes I'll say I seen just to sound up, just to be ironic, honestly. But then when there are people who are legitimately like every time they try to conjugate the past tense of see, they see seen. And I'm like, you are aware of saw, right?
Right. Saw does exist. And they're
because they act like it never existed. And I'm like, this is the only language you speak? Damn.
So do you guys have a word that you guys use like all the time that it probably isn't in the right place?
Oh yeah, my Korean is mediocre. It's like intermediary. So oh man, I sound like an idiot when I speak Korean.
You just hack it up?
Yeah, I hack it up.
Do you have a word that you use that you misplace all the time? Maybe
it's more like certain grammar structures I can't do.
Yeah.
Because I just don't know how to do it. For example, I can't do reported speech. Mike said the weather was great yesterday. Something like that kind of sentence. I can't do that in Korean. So whenever I try to say what someone else says, it comes out real awkward. It comes out mad awkward.
I would say I use, I like to use the phrase "bangering, Peter," just for no reason.
For no reason.
Appreciate. You go appreciate.
Yeah, that one's. I like that one. That one's fine. That one's more of like local lingo. I could take that.
How about fixin' to?
I could take that as well. I like that. And I'm from New Jersey, so I'm okay with dropping the G at the end. We have a lazy TH. Everything that starts with TH, we say with a D.
So I'm Italian, and a big Italian thing is forget about it, right? Yeah. So Vegas, before they did what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, their slogan before that was forget about it.
Oh, I see.
But they spelt it out phonetically, so it was a bunch of weird letters spelling out forget about it. Yeah. But I, as a kid, I was 14 when they did this. I'm 40 now. It gives you an idea how long ago that was. thought, because I read it and I was like, what on earth is Fuja debut? Because that's what I thought it said.
Fugitive.
So,
Who's this fugitive? Why is he debuting?
Yeah, I was just going around saying the word Fuji debut. Everybody's like, what is it? I'm like, I don't know. It's the billboards. They say Fuji debut. They're like, Mike, forget about it. I was like, well, fuck.
Yeah.
I did not see that coming.
So I saw something, commercial. It was the U.S. Open, but as I looked at it, I was looking at U.S. Open. I'm like,
U.S. Open? What is that?
and then I realized what it was.
Use open. Hey, that's their fault for making the graphic look confusing. That's what I
Right.
say.
And yes, Krista did do this wall, and that is why it looks amazing.
Yep, she did a good
She
job.
even painted Screamy, the psychic goat, for us.
Yep.
And it kind of looks like they're touching like Michelangelo's painting, right?
There you go.
Oh,
There you go.
oh,
Oh, there you go.
oh. Hello, Michelle
Hi, Michelle.
LeBaron. That's somebody else you got to meet, Donnie. Michelle, she's fantastic. I don't think so. Michelle is one of the only women to actually hold a Olympic record that is also a paranormal investigator. She has a record for one of the longest javelin throws.
Oh.
Yes. So
Cool.
it is. Yeah, it's really incredible. The fact that she was able to do that is huge. See, she's probably not even going to talk about it, but she really should. She did that while she was in school.
Okay.
She went to a special school. Okay, so it was probably easier to set records there because some of the
Did she go
kids
to javelin throwing school? I just got to ask.
What's that?
Did she go to javelin throwing school?
It was not a javelin throwing school, but it was. It. I don't want to say much, but they do have their own Olympics now. Okay, so we will say that. But we love Michelle. She's fantastic. We plan.
Man, that's awesome. She can actually walk around and literally say to people, "Hey, I'm literally the best in the world at throwing this one weapon." In the world.
I can javelin a mofo.
Yeah.
She could say that. We're going to see her in October. She is going to take us around the Nevada State Prison. So we're very excited for that.
I hear that place is real bad.
It's pretty bad, and they've had they've even carried out like gas chamber death penalties there.
Yeah.
So
that place got a real bad reputation.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited to see that. Oh, okay. I didn't know what you were doing there for a second, Phil. I know it's Juneteenth, but you don't have to make your screen black.
Oh.
I don't know what's going on. I don't
know. But yes. So, Donnie, tell us what you've got going on.
My show, Donny Cho Says Stuff, is pretty much the only thing I got going on. Sometimes I'll show up on like Tex and Rob's channels. My channel is my show actually premieres the same time as this show does at Wednesday at 8 p.m. I literally canceled my show to be on this show.
So thank you.
Because folks, my show sucks. Don't watch it because this show is in direct competition. My show is in direct competition with this show, and you guys are on this show. So all I gotta say is, do not watch Donny Cho Says Stuff.
Don't do it.
The show sucks. Just watch this show. That's it. Just watch this show.
Wednesdays 8 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you are at the same time as us. Damn, that sucks, dude.
Yeah, my show's hot garbage. Hot garbage.
It's hot garbage.
I literally spent 4 episodes talking about Bigfoot's dick.
Well, I can't wait to be on the 5th episode to talk about Bigfoot's dick. Because I want in. We need to start talking vascularity, okay? That's where we got to go. You know, because here's the thing, and nobody else is going to bring this up, but I'm going to bring this up, Donnie. Bigfoot eats a lot of meat. What's in a lot of meat? Creatine. He probably has a low carbohydrate diet, so all he needs to do is eat a few berries, and boom, we're talking that's going to be one veiny son of a bitch, okay? It's gonna look like one furry giant mushroom. Okay.
Yeah.
James gets it.
That's my son.
James knows.
I am also on my show. I am also the.
Yeah. Phil's internet is messing up the stream.
Oh. Well, so on my show, I am also the acting president and the founding member of the newest branch. I would like to say that I've introduced into the field of cryptozoology, and that would be the Elvis experiencers. Because for too long, we Elvis experiencers have been pushed out by the Bigfoot and Dogman nerds. And it's about time we take our own spot in this cryptozoology field and that we make our voices heard and we take some damn respect for ourselves. Because every time, as an Elvis experiencer, I go to these Bigfoot nerds and I tell them about my Elvis experiences, and you know what they do? They laugh at me.
That's weird.
How hypocritical of you guys that you would laugh me out of the room, even though you've devoted all your time and energy into Bigfoot and talking about Bigfoot. And here I'm sharing my personal cryptid experience, and I get laughed out of the room. Very hypocritical, guys.
So, do you believe Elvis exists still?
That's why I am the president of the North American Elvis Project, because we are going to get to the bottom of the Elvis phenomenon.
Okay, Donnie, this is what we're going to do. We're going to have you come to Vegas. I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to fly you down. I'm going to get the room. You can stay in the same room, the suite that Elvis stayed in at the Hilton here in Vegas, where he did all of the show residencies.
Dude, we got to get Tex there too, because Tex is a pretty diehard Elvis. He's diehard into Elvis. He like worships Elvis.
He worships him?
Yeah. Which rightfully so. I mean, he is a very, profound cryptid.
You know what? That's interesting. I wonder if he's ever seen Elvis's penis.
I wouldn't feel worthy. I wouldn't be worthy. Yeah.
I mean, is it just a Bigfoot penis? Is it just as hairy as a Bigfoot penis? I don't know.
You know how they used to teach you?
Need answers, Donnie.
You know how they used to teach you in Sunday school, like if you saw God, like you would die because it would be like your brain would explode or something. I bet you that's what would happen if I saw Elvis's penis. Like my brain would literally explode out of my ears.
I agree. Do you have any experience with mimics? They sound scary AF. I don't. I've never seen it. Have you, Donnie?
It's hard to tell. I'm Korean. Where I'm from, we all kind of look alike anyway. So
I wasn't going to say it.
The last time I remember, and this is not even a joke.
But I appreciate your barbecue.
I was in Seoul, riding on the subway, like commuting to work. I was in my business suit. All the other guys are all going to work. They're all in the same business suit, same glasses. And I'm like looking around the subway one morning, and I'm just like, God, we really do all kind of look like that.
I wonder if they could go to each other's jobs and nobody would ever know.
No, man. But yeah, we're not the best people to ask about mimics. That's for sure.
Do you have any experience with mimics?
I've heard what sounds like someone calling my name because I thought at one point that Pat was calling me and he wasn't even in the house.
Wow.
So, yeah. So I hear things like that all the time when they make it sound like somebody I know to get my attention.
I've had that experience before, actually, where I was just lying. I was at my girlfriend at the time's apartment. We were just lying in bed. I was just staring up at the ceiling, and I very clearly heard my name being from the corner of the room. It just, hey, Donnie, just very casually. And it was my girlfriend's voice, but that didn't make sense because she was lying asleep right next to me.
Yeah.
But then I hear from the other corner of the room her exact voice, and it was just clear as day. Just, hey, Donnie. And I picked my head up. I wasn't even sort of sleepy, but I picked my head up and I'm like, what the hell was that?
Wow.
It was weird.
That's pretty crazy. That's pretty nuts when you really think about it.
So clear. It was so clear.
Donnie, MaryLynn is a psychic medium.
Mhm.
Do you have any questions for MaryLynn that she might be able to help give you some type of clarity on?
No, actually, this is another thing that I would like to publicly declare. Something that I've show as well. I, Donny Cho, am the most powerful psychic in the entire paranormal community.
Okay, I dig it.
Congratulations, guys. You found him.
The search is over.
Yeah.
So
then we need to be asking you questions then.
yeah.
No, well, okay. Granted, I don't consider myself a medium. There's different types of psychics, kind of like character classes in RPGs, right?
Yes,
There's a whole bunch of different character classes. That's what psychics are. Like a medium is just one character class.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, yeah.
But there's a whole litany of them.
That's true. She's like a Venti. You're like a Grande. Is that like the difference? Or
right? I consider myself more of a psychic juggernaut.
Okay, a juggernaut. Okay.
So what I mean by juggernaut is rather because mediums, what they do and like remote viewers, what they're doing is they're receiving the information. They're receiving the information. They're receiving the whatever symbols or signs from the universe, and they're interpreting it right through their spiritual teachings or lessons that they've learned, applying a lot of like it's a real discipline, right? Juggernauts are different because they don't receive the information; they transmit the information. They are the ones who impose. Right?
That's true.
So, and the reason why I consider myself this way is because I think one of the most powerful and most underrated psychic abilities there are is the ability to make people laugh. Now, here's why. It's the only psychic ability where you can force people to be happy against their will.
Ah, interesting. Against their will. I'm going to make you be happy. So Venti is Italian, Grande is Italian, right? So this is Juggernaut in Italian. So if you were to go to Starbucks, this is what you would order.
What is that?
Travolgente.
Tragucente?
Travagente. I don't know. Travagente. Oh, I lost it. Travagente. I'd like a Travagente, please.
Was that a triple?
It's gonna have to be, right? Because it's a juggernaut.
Right.
That's the juggernaut, bro.
Oh yeah, Jason asked. You should ask about the penis bone. Oh yeah, Jason did show us the penis bone, which is present in a lot of like humans, like apes don't have it, but like a lot of like these, I guess, other mammals have them. They have an actual bone.
A bone in their wiener.
It's not in the wiener. It's kind of like the.
Okay, because that's a terrible hot dog.
Yeah, it's like the scaffolding, I guess I would put it.
Okay, I don't. Boy, would that make it less of a wiener and more of like a? What would you call that? Like it's like a wing, like a chicken wing.
I guess I think what I think it is. It's
I prefer a boneless wiener. If you were to order it at a Wingstop, I'd like the boneless wieners, please.
I think two-legged animals are different, but four-legged animals think all have.
Hold the scaffolding.
You know what I want to know, actually?
Honey barbecue, please.
Dogman's wiener look like? Does it look like a human's or does it look like a dog's? You know how the dog, it comes out like that red crayon?
Yeah, it's like a pocket rocket.
It's like lipstick, right? That little thing of lipstick that comes out. Does the Dogman have the red crayon, or does it look more like a human, maybe just a different color and some extra fur or something?
That's true. Yeah, that's a good question. Or what if it looks like? What if like the shaft half is like a dog, and the front half is like the head of a human? But like like the actual head of a human.
The other thing I wonder is could Dogman lick his own balls like most dogs can do? Because if he can't, maybe that's why he's in such a bad mood all the time.
I don't know. Or maybe he can, and that's why we don't see him very often. A baculum. It's called a baculum.
That's what I was just looking that up. I was going to see if I needed to.
I mean, what if Dogman can't lick his own balls like a normal dog could? Because my dog's licking his balls right now. Look at him.
Yeah.
Right? That's like their hobby, right? When they're stressed out, they'll just be like, oh, fuck it. I'm just going to sit back and lick my balls. Right? And then he'll just kind of ignore the humans for a while. Dogman, what if Dogman doesn't have that ability, does not have that luxury? So he's just this pent up ball of like rage and hate. And he just wants to dish it out by frightening all these poor humans.
It's possible. I think that's what needs to be truly investigated.
We need to talk to like a biomechanics expert.
It would really depend on the spinal structure, right, of the dog man. See, we need to get all scientific. Man can't lick his balls.
Because you guys have dogs, right? You guys are dog owners.
Yeah.
What do dogs love to do other than eat and sleep?
Yeah, they lick their balls, or their wiener, or each other's wieners. They do that a lot too. And if Dogman's the only Dogman, that means he can't lick another wiener, and that would make him angry too.
And on special occasions, like
he can't get a job, so he can't even afford to go to Costco for the $1.50 Costco wieners.
I remember one time, like, because I have a Maltese mini pincher mix.
Oh,
one
nice.
time I saw him actually, he licked his own asshole, and I was like, oh my God, I didn't even know you could reach there.
Bravo, good sir.
Oh, that was impressive.
Yes.
So what if Dogman has got the mind of a dog, but he can't physically do that? He'd be pissed off all the time.
That's true. That's true. Or what if he has the mind of a human, but can do that, but doesn't want to do that because he's got the mind of a human and he thinks he's gross?
Well, humans are different because humans have, opposable thumbs. So we have other ways around that. Dogs don't have,
He's a dog man.
Yeah.
That would make him angry.
If he can't use his thumbs right.
Right? I'm just saying. Folks, there you have it.
Minds blown. Minds have been blown.
A lot of investigation still needs to be done on Bigfoot, Dogman, Elvis. You heard it all from Donny Cho. His show is Wednesdays, the same day, same time as ours. Feel free to go back and forth between the shows. We would love that. Donny, are you going to be at Gettysburg Bash? Do you have like a booth or anything?
No. I told, honestly, before you mentioned it tonight, I totally forgot that was happening. I was like, oh shit, I better go. So I'm just going to hop in my car and just show up.
Nice. We'll have you come down and chill with us.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll try to get some friends out there, try to, make it a hang, maybe get a hotel room so we can, just party that weekend. I don't know. Sounds like fun.
Karen said, I thought my 4 brothers were bad. Tis the day, Karen. All right, folks. Well, that will be our show. Miss MaryLynn, do you have anything you'd like to add?
Nope. You guys took the cake with the penis talk, so.
Fair enough.
That's what we aim to do.
Fiddle us out.